welcome all of you to our first session of this on behalf of the team of India Youth Care. And today we have the first session on employability and educational policies. So I'm pretty much sure that all of you are very excited for this session, and you can take it for granted that it's going to be a great learning experience for all of you. So before we get on with the session, so I would like to brief you with some things. So it's going to be a 45-minute to 1 hour session webinar, and at the end of which we are going to conduct a quiz for all of you. Yes, a quiz. And the good news is that the first 3 participants, like who will be scoring the top marks in the quiz, they will be getting free registration into our PCAST course. So a PCAST course is like the practical course on applied spiritual technology. So you can visit our website India Youth Care for more information. So it's going to be a very you can say a very thorough course on spiritual technology and how to apply spiritual spirituality in a real life. That's the course all about. So those are going to top in the quiz. They're going to get free entry into that course. So, and today is also like a very special session because we have got a very special speaker with all of us. So I would like to give a brief introduction of our speaker today. So today our speaker is, as all of you might have been knowing, that Dr. Deepak Singh. So Dr. Deepak Singh is an assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science at Stephen F. Austin State University, Texas, USA. Sir has received his PhD in the School of Computer Science and Engineering at Louisiana State University, Louisiana, USA, and his bachelor's at National Institute of Technology, Durgapur, that is NIT Durgapur. His research interests include machine learning, data center networks, and big data analytics. His research has been published in top venues such as IEEE Crowd, ISC-RAM, XACDE, and IEEE ICCAS. He is also the recipient of the prestigious 2017 LSU Alumni Association International Student Scholarship. He is a member of IEEE and has been a reviewer of several IEEE conference journals. He has served as the president of the Bhakti Yoga Club, a student organization at the Louisiana State University in the USA, introducing students to the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. And currently the club has over 150 members, and sir likes to read about philosophy and politics and play chess and guitar in his free time. So we all like to welcome sir to our session, so you can start with the session, sir. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Indranil. Hello, everyone. First of all, can everybody hear me clearly? You can text. Just send a message. If you can hear me clearly, just send a yes. Okay, wonderful. Okay, thank you very much and welcome to the first session in this PCAST organized by the India Youth Care team. And thank you for giving all your precious time on Sunday. I know everybody is busy on Sundays doing their curricular activities. So thank you so much for giving your time. Now, without further ado, let's move on to today's presentation. So I'm going to share my screen. I would request Indranil Prabhu to make me the co-host, yes, so that I can share this. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, wonderful. Can everybody see my screen with the slide?
Yes.
Okay, so today's presentation will be on educational policies and employability. So I will first talk about the modern education system and what are some of the fallacies in the modern education system. Then I will talk about uh, the Vedic education system, and we will go and see how the things were in the past in the Vedic education system. Then I will talk about some of the solutions and how this modern education system affects our employability, and what are the solutions so that we can increase or enhance our probability of success. Okay, so first I'll talk about the modern education system. So before I start, let me ask you guys this question. So what is your goal in life? And I want all of you to just text this message on your message box and just tell me, what is your goal in life? If you want to, your goal may be to just graduate with your bachelor's degree. Your goal may be to start your own startup company or work in a company of your dream company, whatever you want to work in. So just text the answer to this question. What is your goal in life? I will wait for about a minute till everybody answers. Somebody said they want to become a CEO. Somebody wants to work in a government organization, PSU job. Decent job and happy life, being a good human being. Somebody wants to know the secret. That's very inquisitive, to know the secret of this universe and the quantum mechanics. Very interesting. Somebody wants to set up their own company, start their own business. Very creative people I have today. Wonderful, very, very talented people I have. So thank you very much. And I'll come back to this question in the later part of the session. So let's first start with the stories, two real stories that I have experienced while my bachelor's in National Institute of Technology, Durgapur. The first story is about a student in his second year of college. And one day I come to know that he jumped off the building from the hostel, and he committed suicide. And the way he committed suicide was also very ghastly, because he cut his throat as well as his wrist, and then he jumped off the building. This was a very ghastly incident, and it was really heartbreaking, because the boy was known for his very good nature. He used to play guitar, and he was very nice and meek and humble person. So it was very surprising for everybody to accept for such student to commit such act. And the other story is about when I was in my final year of my engineering, and it was the end of the final year where everybody got jobs and everybody were in a very good mood and enjoying, celebrating. And there was a friend of mine, he also wanted to celebrate, and they did party late night, and drinking and dancing and drinking and all those things. And while he was coming home coming to the hostel, and on his bike, he was hit by a car and he died. He passed away. So he had a job and everything, and now he was celebrating, and while coming back to the hostel, he passed away. Now, these incidents really touched me in person, because I was trying to think that there is no guarantee to what future we're going to have and when it's going to stop. So one of the important thing that can be learned from these incidents is what caused such incident, what caused it. So the first incident, the suicide, most of the students, they commit suicides due to many reasons. And one of the such reason is academic pressures. And we will talk about such reasons in the upcoming slides. It is said that 28 students every day in India, they commit suicide. That's like approximately one student every hour. That's a big number. And one may say that, okay, you know what, in India, there is not a good education system, and things are not in place. The system doesn't work very well. So maybe that's why the students, they get frustrated, and out of anxiety and tension, they commit such act. But United States, it has a very good education system. Let's see what the figure says in United States. In United States, the 10th leading cause of death that is caused by suicide. So you can see even in United States, the number are high. And among the youngster, it is the second leading cause of death. And the youngster aging from 10 to 34 years old, they are committing suicide. So even a developed country like United States do not have a good number when it comes to the students committing suicide. Another reason is also because of the lack of guidance. Just like my friend in my final year who passed away, and there was a lack of guidance, because we are always told that once when we are in high school, we are told that, oh, once you get good grades and you get into a good college, then you don't have to worry at all. And then once you get into college, and then you say that, you know what, once you are in college, once you get a good job, have a good job in a good company, or either PSU or your dream job in some big company, then your life will be settled and there is nothing to worry anymore. And then when you get into those jobs, then you feel the life becomes even more complicated. And then you have to compete with other people. You want to exchange from one company to another, or you want to have your own. And the things gets constant. It's like a race which constantly goes on, and it becomes more complicated from one step to the next. And somewhere we lose the proper guidance. And when we achieve a landmark in our life, we think that, oh, that's it, I achieved it. That's what I was doing and working so hard for all my life. But once we get there, and then because of the lack of guidance, we take decisions which affects and hampers our lives. So this is a quote given by a Seth Godin, who is an author and also an educational activist. And he says that the modern education system is basically just to train people to get work in factory or industries. So, and that's what happens in today's modern education system. The modern education system, it teaches you how to get a good job. It makes you how to become a worker in a company, in an industry. And it doesn't matter what country it is. You know, India has just implemented another new educational policy. Similarly, other countries have their own educational policies in place. And those educational policies may be impacted by the nature of the people or the history of that nation. And it doesn't matter whether it is influenced by capitalism or communalism or socialism or science-based, whatever based the education policies are in place. The data shows that it is not being very effective. The number shows that every education policies are more directed towards how we can get better job, how we can make more money. Srila Prabhupada, a spiritual teacher, a great bhakti yogi who gave this knowledge of transcendental science all over the world, he is saying in one of his lecture that education system is nice building, nice facilities, everything nice. Unfortunately, the products are coming out frustrated, confused young men. And how so? It is said that 80% of the Indian engineers are not fit for any job. So whatever the products, so we may have a good universities and everything so nice, especially in United States, the universities and the whole ambience across the universities, it looks very nice. and such facility are good, but if the students who are passing out from those institutions, if they are not contributing back to the society, to the welfare of the nations all across the world, then there are some faults in those education system. In one of the survey in 2019, it has been found that 80%, that's a very big number, of Indian engineers are not fit because they are not given a proper skills or training so that they can cope up with the demands of the modern industrial system that they want. So what are such causes? What causes such high anxiety that makes one commit suicides? And one of such causes is the high expectations. We expect so high from ourselves, or others expect so high from us, that puts a lot of pressure and tension on us. Another is the academic pressure. We have to meet the deadlines. We have to compete with so many people for jobs, and those create a lot of pressure around us. And the third is the lack of guidance. We all want somebody who can give us a overall guidance, not just how we can make money, but also how we can conduct ourselves while going through the process. And such guidance we lack because the school system has no such system in place which can guide us in a more holistic way, in a more psychological, our own qualitative way. The more focus in education systems today are more based on quantitative. If you get good grades, then you will be succeeding. If you don't get good grades, you won't succeed. For some person, it may take some time to understand this topic. For other person may understand the topic little in a lesser time, but there is no system in place which can help the person who can take little extra time to get there. If you don't solve a problem within particular minutes, then you will not be given the same grades as the other. So the whole education system is more focused towards the grade system instead of going through the holistic approach. Now, grade system is a quick and better way to understand how good one is, but at the same time, a person is more than just getting how much grades we have, because we know that when exams comes, we just memorize, we get good grades, and then we don't forget everything. So now I'm going to ask a question again to all of you. So this question may seem unrelevant, but I will tell you about the relevance of this question and shortly. So my other question is, tell me some of the activities, some of the common activities that animals also do and humans also do. So you have to tell me some of the actions or activities that is common in between humans and animals. Okay. Okay, somebody answered it. Okay. Anybody else wants to? Okay, nice. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Yes. Yes, yes. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. You all answered correctly. So congratulations. So yes. So these are the 4 common activities between animals and humans. That is eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. So the only difference lies in the level of sophistication. Like we eat in a nice table, on a nice plate, and animals eat somewhere like in a, here they give them like in a nice spot, but in India they can eat from like a trash or anywhere. But once you eat the food, the hunger is satiated similarly, isn't it? If a beggar eats a food and if a rich person eats a food in a 5-star hotel, once they eat the food, the hunger is satiated. It doesn't matter if he is a rich or a beggar. Similarly, we also mate, we also sleep, and we defend. So these are some of the basic activities, and it is said in the Vedic scripture that ahar, nidra, bhaya, methunam cha saman yam etat pasubhi naranam. So these are the four common activities. So our present education system focus more on how we can sophisticate our eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. So when some answered the question that what is the goal of their life, when somebody answers that, oh, I want to have a good job, means that good job means I can have enough money, or I can make enough money or enough name or fame and success in our life so that I can eat better, I can sleep better, I can defend better, and I can mate better. So whole idea of present education system revolves around these four things. Now, what is the problem with it? The problem is that these four things are temporary. Like when you eat, sometimes you will eat better, sometimes you may not eat better. Maybe you are sick, or maybe something happens. So these things are not, they can encourage you to do something, but they cannot let you have a higher ambition enough to achieve it. For example, all these things are material in nature. So material things, they are basically temporary. So when they are temporary, when they are not there, we feel upset, we feel depressed. It's just like if I have a car, and when my car gets old, and then I have to buy another car, I have to pay more insurance, I have to pay more finances. Now I have to work even more harder to get another car. That happens in the trend in the phones. Like today iPhone 10 have come, if next year iPhone 11, so everybody jumps into that, no, no, I want iPhone 11 now. So we create a society based on materialistic approach, where if we see an advertisement and we see that, oh, somebody, if he brushes the teeth and his teeth just glitters, and if you buy this toothbrush, then your whole problem of your entire life will be solved. And then we all watch those advertisements that are bombarded into the billboards, into the television, and wherever we go, and it creates an environment around us that we think that happiness comes when we buy this toothbrush. So this education system is more focused towards the material requirements, towards the material needs. So we will see now, we will compare more about this with the older, or with the ancient roots, that do we have a solution to this? Now, because of such education system, they produce such jobs which are more based on eating, mating, sleeping, defending. That's why the people are not very satisfied in such jobs. So as you can see in the poll, it is shown that 85% of the full-time workers are unhappy about their jobs. So 85% of people, they don't like their jobs. Now, do you really want to do such jobs that you don't like? How torturous will it be? So this is kind of an employment we will get after going through the education system. So now we will dive into that. Is there any alternative? And we will see some of the Vedic education system, that how things were in the past. So we will go back to the roots, we will see, and we will compare, have we advanced, how much we have advanced from the ancient education system to today's education system, and how we can fill up the gap if there is any. So let's see. So first of all, what is education? I didn't define that earlier. So the question comes, what is education? So the education is a process of acquiring knowledge, or it's a process to facilitate learning. That is what education is. Education is not to facilitate one to earn money. It's to earn knowledge. That is what education is meant for. Now, in the Vedic education system, the education was seen as a very sacred activity, where the learning and teachings were seen as a very sacred part of the culture. And there used to be Upanayan Sanskar when children, they used to go to the higher school, or in Bengal still they perform they do this ceremony where a child writes the first letter of the alphabet on the board. So education was seen as a sacred act. And there were many universities. It is stated in Mahabharata that there were so many forest universities, as you can see in the picture, where people were specialized in Vedas. There will be one university where you, if you want to get a specialization in Vedas, you go to that university. Then there will be universities on grammar, geology, mathematics, astronomy, physical science, and medicine, and much more. Music, textile, metallurgical, and this itself can be a whole lecture about how there was ancient knowledge system based on mathematics. So similarly, there were many asramas or schools run by different teachers like Saunaka Rishi or Kanva Rishi or Vyasa, Vasishta or Viswamitra. And Kanva Rishi is interesting because Kanva Rishi's institution, he had many hermitages, or he had many institutions where if somebody wants to do, let's say in present terms, if somebody wants to do a bachelor's in business, then they will go to one of his institute and he will get the bachelor degree, and then he will move. If he wants to do computer science, then he will move to the other institution and he will get a degree in that. And all of these institutions were headed by the Kanwaris. So there were education institutions through where people can go and acquire knowledge. And these are some of the universities in ancient India, starting from the Takshila, which is the oldest one. And you can see there is a large chunk of universities in the area of, in the eastern part of India, specifically the area of Bihar and West Bengal. And Navadip is a place in West Bengal which was considered as to be the center and the hub of this knowledge. So as you can see, the entire India has a very robust education institutions to provide education environment for everybody. And those educational institutions were based on the logic reasoning, which is very much like the modern reasoning we use in our science, because these reasoning are actually the base or of any kind of a mathematical inventions. Wherever we have come, they all have been based on these logic reasoning. So these reasonings are such as the pratyaksha. Pratyaksha is like perception or observation. Similarly, there is another reasoning called anumana, that is reasoning through inference. Then there is reasoning through comparison and analogy. Then there is reasoning through postulation or deriving from the circumstances. Then there is reasoning through negative proofs or proof by contradiction and to this term. Or they used to be reasoning through shabda or words of experts, just like how we write when we do PhD. We learn the thesis. We do our thesis based on the things that we learned from the previous research papers, and those are the experts in that area who have worked, and based on that work we further develop and expand the work. So similarly, all these reasoning, which are very much how modern science is based on, was already in place in the ancient Vedic education system. There were also interdisciplinary work. This is a comment by the Susrut. He was a physician, and he says that a physician who has learned one science only cannot be sure of his own science, and for this reason a physician has to be versed in many sciences. So as you can see, he's encouraging that for a physician he has to know other sciences as well, which we see today in today's world. After the invention of artificial intelligence, most of the biological data are now dealt with artificial intelligence, which is a computer science, a field in computer science. And now it has been used in a great amount in the biological sciences or the medical sciences. And there have been so many interdisciplinary work and research being done nowadays. And such idea was already present in the ancient Vedic time.
Sir,
Similarly,
Deepak sir, can you
yes.
make me host? Can you make me host so that I can mute all participants and just...
Yes, sure. made you the co-host. All right. Sorry for the interruption. Let's move on. All right. So there was also a very good ecosystem in the ancient education system in place. Like there were Chinese students, and they have written a very vivid and detailed description about the universities. And one of such universities, the Nalanda University, and Xuanzang from China, he has written that how this Nalanda University was a very beautiful place with lakes and ponds, and how there were like 1,000 teachers and there were 10,000 students, and the admission rate was 20%. So it was just like getting into Stanford or getting into MIT or IIT or NIT. So they were like, it was a competitive based university where only 20%. There were coaching institutions around the Nalanda University. Then there is an inscription that is found in the Nyaya temple inscription, and there are many such inscriptions in other places as well in southern India, where it is written that how much land will be given to establish an education institution, and how much allowance a teacher will get. So a teacher will get 16 times more allowance than the student. And then the students who are learning higher education, so if they are learning higher education such as Vedanta, philosophy and all, they will get 66% higher stipend compared to the basic courses that the students are taking. So like this, everything was very systematic and very much in place, as we see in our modern education system, that how we have universities and we have everything in place. The students get some stipend if they are doing research, the teachers get paid. So like that, even in ancient education system, those all models were present. Then there were also many ancient scientists who have contributed tremendously in the advancement of science in those days. So this is a picture of a Bhaskaracharya. He was the head of the Department of Astronomy in the Ujjain University, and he have contributed vastly in differential calculus, number systems, etc. Then another very fascinating thing I found when I was in my high school and I was preparing for a competitive exam, and this verse, Yojananam Sahasta Dve Dve Sate Dve Cha, this verse I read first time in H.C. Verma book. I don't know how many of you have read this verse there, but I'm pretty sure you must be all knowing this book, H.C. Verma, and the concepts of physics. And this verse is written there where H.C. Verma is quoting an author and telling that how this verse tells that people in ancient times, they already knew the speed of light. And the speed of light, if you calculate according to this verse, it's up to 2 decimal points accurate. So as you can see, the Vedic education system was very profound and very scientific. And there were many scholars who also transferred this education system to different parts of the world. So they didn't kept this education system in just within India, but they also transferred it. There were many scholars, and the names are here, like Kasyapa, Dharmaratna, Sanghavarma. All these scholars, they went to China and they translated the works into Chinese. Similarly, there is a great revered mathematician called Gautama Siddha in China. They call him as Kutan Siddha. And this Chinese, they respected with him because he brought the mathematics, the Indian number system to China. Similarly, the works of Ayurveda, not only just spices, we already know that there was a Silk Route and spices used to go through the Silk Route from India, and it used to connect the West Asia and Europe. But along with it, even the medical science or Ayurveda were transferred through the works of the Rishi Kannada, and it went through the Greece, where from Aristotle in the 4th century, it moved to the Hippocrates, who is known as the father of medical science. And it is seen that actually how you take initiation when one becomes a physician in Ayurveda custom, the same custom were being followed in Greece as well when somebody would become a physician. So it shows that how profound this Vedic system was. So the question comes that why was it? Because we still have the same logics as we had in the ancient times. We still have the same reasoning process. We still have the same systems. So what is it that in ancient times there were so many discoveries happened? From the manuscript we can find that how there was everything in place. The students were more devoted towards learning. But what is the problem? What's the gap that is there? And the gap is that we are only focusing on one aspect of knowledge. So this verse is given in the Mundaka Upanishad, which says that this knowledge, there are two kinds of knowledge: the apara knowledge and the para knowledge. What is apara knowledge? Apara knowledge is material knowledge. So we all need knowledge to maintain ourselves, because being human, we have human needs, and to fulfill human needs we have to find our technology through which we can solve our real world problem. And for that we have this upper knowledge. This knowledge, through this knowledge we can maintain those needs. And those knowledge includes the arts, astrology, astronomy, medical science, mathematics, and so on and so forth. And by focusing on that knowledge, we can discover our skills, because we all are skilled. We all are talented in one way or the other. And if we can polish or nurture that talent within us, then we can be better in that. And that way we can fulfill our own human needs as well as the needs of the society or the nation. So upper knowledge is more focused towards that material need. But then just material need is not enough, because when we go through those material needs, we will go through many ups and downs. We get sometimes good grades, we get sometimes bad grade. We will have sometimes some problem. Once we are in the job market, we will have some issues, some problem we have to deal with. Sometimes we will have the good times, we will have everything will work as per the plan. So throughout these ups and downs, there will be one thing which will be common, and that is you will be throughout all those ups and downs. And that is why it is very important to understand that who am I? Those inner questions, we have to dive within to understand our own self. Who am I? Where do I come from? And that knowledge was being given in those Vedic education time, which is missing in today's modern education system. We don't have any system in place where we encourage students to ask these deeper aspects of life. So that's why we see all these high suicide rates. That's why we see that all these people, successful people, we all want to become successful in our life, isn't it? Even like a small thing, small activities we do day by day, even in those attempts, we want to be successful. If we are playing some gully cricket, even in that game, we want to win the game. Whatever little effort we want to do, we want to become successful, because successful is very nice, isn't it? We all want to be successful. But then when we see these successful people and we see what kind of activities they do, either they commit heinous crimes or they commit suicide or other things, then we think that, oh my God, is this what success means? Or success is then suffering, isn't it? The more success you become, the more you suffer, because then the more complications happens in your life, and then you don't know how to deal with, because there is no education system which teaches you how to deal with it. But however, in the old times, there was this education system which was to maintain a balance between this material knowledge and this transcendental knowledge, through which there can be holistic improvement and advancement of a child or a student throughout his life. So most of you are a student, and you will go through lots of ups and downs in your life. And then even you will go into the job market, you will even see more ruthless nature of this world. And at that time, you have to have a strong determination, a strong character. Now, you see some of the successful people like Steve Jobs, you see Bill Gates, and they are very successful big people because they had a strong determination. They, they had courage. They had the venture to achieve and go get it. But not all of us has that in us. And so the people, most of us who don't have it, we have to develop it. And to develop it, we have to train. And to train, we need to have a proper guidance in our life who can help us to get that training so that we can nurture those aspects and those qualities within us. So that is very important. So now I'll talk about employability. So what happens when we go through the modern education system? I already talked briefly about how modern education system helps us in getting employment based on fulfill our human needs, which is eating, mating, sleeping, and defending, without giving much information about our real aspect, the more deeper aspects of life. So once you get into job market, you will find this dilemma. You will find some job which you don't like, but they are very good paying. And then you will find some jobs which are not very good paying, but you like very much. But they are not helping you much because they pay you so less and you are struggling to maintain yourself. And then there will be some jobs which neither you like nor they are paying you well, but you have to just do it. So if you see, there is always a tussle between the money, how much money you want to make, and what is your passion. Like I said, that we all are talented, we all have some skills, and if we nurture those skills, then or our passion, then we feel very happy in doing that, and that way we can get the maximum output of it. So let's say if I have a job, and usually in United States, people usually work 8 hours per week for 5 days, and Saturday, Sundays are off. So let's just assume that ideal situation where you have to work 8 hours per day for 5 days per week. Then that means you are working 40 hours per week. And if you include all the holidays that you have within the year, then you will be working approximately 2,000 hours per year. And if you consider, if I assume that everybody, all of us gonna work for 40 to 45 years, then that calculation comes to 90,000 hours of your life. So we are working for 90,000 hours of your life, which is equivalent to 10 years of our life. And if we don't enjoy that work, we can imagine how torturous that would be. And that is why you found in the early poll that 85% of the people don't like their jobs. They are not happy with it. So how much torturous would be if we want to do the job that we don't like? But then the question comes that if we want to pursue our passion, will it pay my bills? This passion, you may succeed or you may not succeed pursuing your passion. And that may create difficulties to maintain yourself. So what to do? So the answer is to maintain a balance, to have a balance so that we can do our work and also pursue our passion. So we have to find something that can be likable in our work, that when we are doing a job, even if we don't like it, but because this job is helping me to go further in my life, then I will find something good in that job that is likable, and I will try to increase my interest into it and try to do it. Similarly, we will try to explore our passion at the same time while pursuing our job. Okay. And by the way, some students are raising their hand. They have some questions also. So I will take all the questions at the end of the session. So let's move on. And I would like somebody to mute their mic, and I want somebody to read this first quote by Srila Prabhupada about the modern education system. So can anybody please read this first quote?
Durgesh, I have asked Durgesh to unmute, so Durgesh can read out.
Yes, please, Durgesh ji, please.
Modern civilization is in dire need of an education system to give people instructions on what happens after death. In actuality, the present education system is most defective because unless one knows what happens after death, one dies like an animal. Although this process of growth is always taking place, the education system in modern universities, though considered advanced, unfortunately does not deal with this. Actually, there is no education without spiritual knowledge. One can learn to earn bread, eat, sleep, and mate without a formal education.
So knowledge is not complete without transcendental knowledge. So the whole effort by the India Youth KRT is to fill that gap. So what is that gap? The gap is the losing link between the modern education system and the employability. And what is that link? That link is the gap of the transcendental knowledge. So if we fill that gap with our transcendental knowledge, then we can increase our chances of success in our life. Then we can uh, achieve whatever passion or whatever goal we have. I was introduced to this knowledge when I was doing my bachelor's, and it helped me tremendously. I cannot tell how much it helped me to achieve my goals. And I'm pretty sure whoever takes this course, all these sessions, and learn from it, they will achieve. It will help them to achieve their goals as well. So this is our humble effort to help you guys, to help more youth in advancing their personal life. So it's already time. I have went like 5 minutes more, so I'll stop here and I will take some questions. If anybody have any questions, I'm gonna have to look at the. So Indranil, can you read all the questions?
Yes, sir, surely.
Yes, please.
So the first question is from Deep. So why isn't the simple teachings of Gita propagated in schools and even publicly? Where is the problem?
So, in my understanding, this problem is more a political problem, and this cannot be dealt because we cannot deal with this because it has to come from the government. But we are offering this course so to fill that gap. So we are doing whatever we can do on our side to fill that gap by giving the transcendental knowledge. So even though you don't get that knowledge in your educational system, please join our sessions, join our courses, and just explore it and see what it has to offer to you to achieve your goals. Yes, what's the next question?
Yes. So the next question is how to survive in current education system. It is from Ankit.
Like I said, that to survive in the present education system, you have to find some likable things that you want to pursue. There must be something that is why you are studying and doing engineering. You must be liking something about your course, something about your department, and you have to just inculcate that that interest so that can motivate you to go and pursue your education. And at the same time, you have to develop a strong will and determination that because there will be some times when you will feel encouraged, where there will be some times when you won't feel encouraged. And to go through this present education system, it's very important that you keep yourself encouraged enough, and that you can always only do when you associate yourself with such people who are also highly motivated, who are also encouraged. And our India Youth Care team or the group will provide you the proper guidance to keep you encouraged. Both material guidance we can provide, as well as the spiritual guidance we will provide. Just like after the successful completion of this course, the students will be given an option to pick up some of the short courses in reputed institutions in India, like ISI Kolkata, IIT Kharagpur, IIT Kanpur, and other institutions. So by associating, keeping in touch, learning, you will grow more and you will be able to deal with this education system. Is there any other question?
Yes, sir. We'll take just one last question. So, Ritam Ghosh is asking question. Sir, if I have some interest in spirituality or that transcendental knowledge, then it can take time because such a topic requires more time and interest. So, in this time while doing our current university course, how can we manage time and this valuable teachings in life?
Yes, so that's a very interesting question, because yes, there is a vast knowledge, Vedic knowledge that exists, and there is no time to go through all that while also doing your degrees, pursuing your degree, whatever you are doing. That is why we have people who have gone through that science, and they have taken out the gist of it, and they will give you that gist. It's just like when you are taking a course in your department, whatever subject you are taking, you don't go through all the research that has been done from the beginning till today. There is a professor, and he takes a book and he tells you that this is the book that we're going to follow, because this book contains all the important informations that you need. And then he teaches you, and then he answers if you have any questions to that. Similarly, in this India Youth Forum, we have very learned scholars, and they will guide you through, and they will give you the gist of all the Vedic knowledge or transcendental knowledge that exists, and they will tell you that these are the main points of it, and if you follow these things, that means you get the whole gist or the summary or the essence of this transcendental knowledge. So that way this cuts all the time that you will go through by reading all the Vedas and Upanishads and all those books. You don't have to do that. You just read the crux and the essence of it. At the same time, you go and pursue your material ambitions. That answers your question.
Thank you, sir. So there are many more questions. So like I would like to let know the participants that we have saved this chat. So we have your name as well in that. So we'll get back to you personally in WhatsApp. We'll be sending these questions to sir, and sir can, and we'll find out a way to get the answers to you. So okay.
So before I hand it over to you, I would like to thank all the participants for coordinating and giving your valuable time. And I would highly encourage you to go through this entire course and just see and explore if there is something good that you can get out of it. So thank you again. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So thank you, sir. It was such an enlightening session with such valuable lessons you shared with all of us through all of your experience and your study of Bhagavad Gita and so many other scriptures. So I hope all of you found this session really very helpful. Yes. And now we have a very interesting part. So I will just be posting a link for quiz in the chat box. Yes, I have posted the link for quiz. So all of you can attend the quiz. It will just take 2 to 3 minutes. And as I promised in the beginning of the session, so the first 3 participants will be getting free registration for our course on practical primary course on applied spiritual technology. So I have posted the link. So all of you can go ahead and attend the quiz. It will just take for 2 minutes. Yes. Okay, so we'll just wait for 2 more minutes and then we'll end the quiz. 2 more minutes time, all of you have. Yeah. 30 seconds more and we'll announce the winners. Yeah. So we have the results with us. So first is Simran Sahu. So Simran Sahu is first, and then second position goes to Deep. So Deep is in second position, and third is Piyush. So yeah.
Congratulations
Yes.
to the some, and congratulations for everyone who participated in this.
Yes. So we'd like to congratulate Simran Sahu, Deep, and Piyush. So all of you will be contacting you. We have your numbers, and we'll be contacting you for the registration of the course. Yeah. So now I will just like to share about our next session, which is a very special one. So just a minute. Give me. I will just share some details about it. Yeah. So our next session will be given by Dr. Gautam Paul sir, and sir is an assistant professor at the at ISI Kolkata. So all of you must have heard about ISI Kolkata. So the Indian Statistical Institute. So sir is a professor there. So just let me share my screen with all of you. Just a minute. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So as you can see, so sir is an associate professor at the Indian Statistical Institute. His name is Dr. Gautam Pal, and he will be addressing us on a very interesting topic actually. That is in terms of the recent pandemic, we can see that so many people lives have been affected so much, but actually we can really learn lessons from this corona also, from this pandemic situation. So sir will be addressing us on this, and following this we'll be having two more webinars, and you can join us all of you can join us on those, and this will be next Sunday, and we'll be intimating you the times and the Zoom IDs for the same. So, and a last request for all of you, that you can also, since you found this I hope you found this webinar very helpful, so you can intimate to all your friends and classmates and whoever you know, so that they can also get benefited through all of this. So at last, I would like to thank Sir Deepak Sir and for his valuable time, and all of you for joining us for this session. So yeah. So thank you all. Thank you once again.